Hi, this is Dave Ogle, Jakalope, and you're at Popularity.
Did you have a vision when you went into creating things that go jump in the night, or did you just let the pieces kind of fall where they may?
It was more pieces fall where they may, where I just went in with the attitude of I really wanted to come up with a CD that every bit of it was really strong and sort of all went together as a whole. So I went in and kind of recorded up to, I think it was 37 tracks we had in the end, and then it was nice because from that I went and sort of was able to pick and choose the 10 songs that did finally become the actual CD. So it was I would say put together in pieces with a vision to see what the whole picture would be in the end.
What decides that the time is right to go into the studio and create a new album?
Well, for me, because I'm a producer and work on other projects as well, a lot of it is when I have free time, I would dedicate it to Jakalope. So it was a lot of going in between. Whenever I did have time between projects, I would dedicate that definitely to Jakalope. And as you know, we got closer and closer to being done, then it sort of became a full-time job after that. So as opposed to most bands normally where they'll sort of say, hey, it's time to go, for me, it's just like whenever I have a second to dedicate to Jakalope, that is the way it gets done.
When do you feel that you're in your most creative state?
It's really funny because it could be any time, and a lot of the basis of songwriting comes when I'm doing something where I have, like, if I'm on a plane or if I'm waiting for someone and I have a couple hours to kill and I just have my laptop with me. And it's funny because it would seem like that would be not a creative time, but because I have nothing else to do and no distractions, that becomes quite a good creative time for me.
Creating music is like organizing an accident. What do you think of that statement?
I would agree with it because once again, being a producer as well, I'm kind of used to the chaos that goes into making a CD, and kind of creating a song is kind of the same. Where if you want to follow a formula and just do the same thing over and over, yeah, then you're going to be safe and there won't be quote unquote an accident. But when it's just generally, especially the way I work, it's just could be chaos at any time, and it is how you sort of organize it and what direction you steer it in. So I would have to agree with the statement.
What would you say are some of the key challenges that you faced during the creative process this time?
The musicality of it for me is very easy because when I get stuck on, rising to the level of my incompetence, shall we say, in guitar playing or in keyboards or in drums or in anything, I always can bring in somebody else to help me out with it. But when it comes kind of to lyrics, that's kind of where it is not my strong point, and it comes from Crystal in the first place as opposed to me, and then I get a little bit more, I like to go over them after someone has come up with them, so lyrically is probably the toughest area for me. But in the end, once again, working with Crystal, I can steer her in the direction that I'm hearing, and then I think that works out in the end.
What would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself throughout the creation this time around?
The biggest thing for this record was for me to stay in control. In the past, I've tended to let people have a little too much input or steer the boat in the direction they wanted to go, while on this one, I took the reins of it completely, and I never let them go to anyone else. And I think that really was something that needed to be done, and I think it really worked out in the end.
Can you describe your attraction to music, and has it changed at all over time?
No, it's just something that when I was in my teens, I was going to become a business major, and sort of my first year into college, realized that my true love was music, and sort of started figuring out how I could get into the music field and what I would be good at. So I'm going to say I've always, ever since I sort of made a conscious decision of what I wanted to do with my life, and decided that it was music, it's been a love for it. And to this day, I thank the lucky stars that I'm lucky to have a job where I love going to every day, and every day is a new day. It's so unroutine compared to any other job that I'm one of the luckiest men in the world that I'm able to survive doing what I love.
What drives you more when creating music, change or originality?
Probably change, because I'm a big fan of, some bands like to just come up with a successful style or a successful way of doing things, and then they just follow that formula until it sort of is over, and then they realize they have to change. Well, for me, I think every time you do a new CD, it's really good to try and reinvent yourself in different ways and push yourself to come up with different ideas and not do the same things that you're really comfortable, and push yourself out of the comfort zones, and then you get originality, which is something I always strive for. I really believe that doing what you know all the time for your fans is just kind of, you're going to lose them very fast. So the fact if you can keep changing and having new energy come flushing out the old energy, it always makes it better for everybody.
Is there a specific song on the album that you're most proud of?
Well, it's funny because everybody sort of has different reasons, but the song Delicious, I think it might have been one of the first ones we kind of got done. I have a real weak spot for. It's kind of an epic Fleetwood Mac type of song, so it was really something that, for me, when I listen to it, I almost always get a chill because it's just a song where it builds and it builds. But it's funny because on different days, different songs really appeal to me, and actually none of them ever don't appeal to me, which is a great success. But of the whole album, I think I'd have to say the one I'm most proud of in a weird way is definitely Delicious.
Are there any songs that surprised you by taking a different direction than you maybe initially envisioned?
Well, the biggest shock for me was the song Magnolia, which is actually going to be our next single and our video, because when I wrote the song, I spent a lot of time in New Orleans during my Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails days, and I was kind of always influenced by, not influenced, but I was always intrigued by the kind of New Orleans funeral marches that they had down there. And I was always sort of like, it was something that, you never experienced in anywhere else in the world, I'd say. So I sort of came up with, I wanted to kind of do a tribute to that type of song, or that type of sound where they have it, and, they start off with as a sort of party for the person who died, and it sort of starts off quietly, and then it's all tubas and trombones and big brass instruments and drums, and then they do this big procession where it turns into a big just party moving down streets. But the sound was based on this, like I said, brass and drums. So I tried to write something in that direction. And then when I kind of got finished with the music, I was like, this song somehow just came out way too happy for me. But luckily, Cassie Parker at 604, my record company, I played it for her, and I said, what do you think? Is this too happy? And she said, no, this is brilliant. This is great. And I'm like, I was really on the fence. I'm like, I don't know. I just think it's way too happy a song. And she's like, no, if you don't finish that song, you're going to be in big, big trouble. So I proceeded to finish the song, and now it's a song that everybody loves, and like I say, has turned into being the next single.
At this point, what do you value most about, I guess, the band?
The fact that this band, we're all really close friends. We all sort of do our own things, and then we get together to do Jakalope. So Jakalope is really a great release or relief for everybody because there's not really pressure on anybody. And the 5 people that we now are the band all just have the same sense of humor, the same sense of ridiculousness, and the same sense of commitment to the project. So it's a really comfortable family type feel where everybody loves being together, which is a great feeling when you want to do stuff and everybody wants to be involved, everybody wants to put their 2 cents worth in, everybody wants to pick up and go wherever we have to. So the commitment that we have now and the personalities are just fantastic.
What's next?
What's next is we just finished shooting the video, so that will be the next thing we see. And then we're just lining up our tour for the summer, which is hopefully going to include a lot of the festivals like the Stampede and the Capital X and the Squamish Music Festival out here. So people on the West Coast can see our show in a much bigger format than we've been doing lately around here.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to the Readers of Popularity?
I would like to say thank you for all your support, and keep an eye on us in the next 6 months to a year, because we're really going to be revving this project up to taking it to the next level and taking it to the international level. So any support you guys can give us, please do, and we love our family much. So